Got it. All right. Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Covert. As chairperson of the Investment Committee of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to today's public meeting of the Investment Committee. This meeting has been duly advertised as a public meeting in accordance with the Sunshine Act and is therefore open to members of the public as observers. A quorum is present for the transaction of business. Participation in the meeting is limited to members of the Investment Committee and to those individuals the committee has invited in advance to take part. The background statement and resolution for the establishment of the income spending percentages for the consolidated investment pool of the university's endowment fund for fiscal year 2026 was circulated to the committee in advance of today's meeting. At this time, I would like to call on Dwayne Pinkney, the University Executive Senior Vice Chancellor for Administration, Finance, and Chief Finance Officer, to provide an overview of the recommended income spending percentages. Go ahead, Dwayne. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Covert, and members of the committee. Thank you for indulging me to read the resolution again from the information meeting. Thank you, Chair. As Chair indicated, the statement and resolution were circulated prior to this meeting. And today we are requesting authorization for the fiscal year 2026 spending policy of the University of Pittsburgh's Consolidated Endowment Fund, the CEF. As a reminder, the Consolidated Endowment Fund is comprised of a number of individual funds having a variety of designated purposes and restrictions. While each fund is distinct, they are consolidated for investment purposes and managed on a unitized basis, similar to a mutual fund. In addition to donor-restricted endowed funds, university management restricted funds, including the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment, are also invested through the CEF. The spending policy for the CEF, excluding the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment, is to distribute the greater of 4.25% of the 3-year average fair value of the assets, or 4.75% for University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment, or the prior year's income distribution per share, the floor provision. For fiscal year 2026, the prior fiscal year's income distribution per share exceeds the 4.25% of the 3-year average fair market value of the assets for the CEF, excluding the University and Operating Fund's quasi-endowment. Likewise, for fiscal year 2026, the prior fiscal year's income distribution per share exceeds the 4.75% of the 3-year average fair market value of the assets for the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment. Therefore, according to the spending policy, the floor provision will be enacted and the prior year's income distribution per share will be in effect. This year, we are recommending no change to the spending policy for the Consolidated Endowment Fund, excluding the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment. For fiscal year 2026, the proposed amount of income to be distributed is approximately the $6.03 per share that was in effect for fiscal year 2025. Similarly, we are recommending no change to the spending policy for the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment. For fiscal year 2026, the proposed amount of income to be distributed from the University Operating Fund's quasi-endowment is approximately $6.74 per share that was in effect for fiscal year 2025. Mr. Chair, that concludes the report and the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate that explanation of the resolution. Are there any questions? May I have a motion to approve the resolution of the Investment Committee authorizing the income percentages?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. The resolution of the Investment Committee authorizing the income percentages is approved. Thank you very much. One thing I'd like to do before we adjourn is the approval of the minutes. The minutes of the March 19th, 2025 information meeting of the investment committee were circulated in advance of today's meeting and were included in our meeting materials. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So
So
moved.
moved.
A second?
Second.
Any comments or corrections? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Is there any new business to be brought before the committee? Hearing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.